Today we are looking at applications of trigonometric ratio, and the learning objective are to understand and calculate the shortest distance of a point from a line, and also to solve problems using an angle of elevation and the angle of depression. So these are the keywords we have: the angle of elevation and the angle of depression. And in order to talk about the angle of elevation, whenever we are standing and we decide to look up, maybe if there's a plane that is just flying and this is our eye level, and we decide to look up to see the plane, that means that the angle we make here is what we call the angle of what? Elevation. Understand? And when somebody is up, maybe on a high or mountain, and decide to look down to see what is happening, and the angle the person makes there is what we call the angle of depression, because here is the eye level of the person and the person looks down to see what is happening there. So the angle the person makes there is angle of depression. And you must know that the angle of elevation must be equal to the angle of depression when we're talking about alternate angles. Okay, talking about alternate angles. So if this is the angle of depression and this is the angle of elevation, these two angles must be what? Equal. Okay, now let's consider some question. Yeah, it says that a man standing 200 meters from the base of a television transformer looks at the top of it and notice that the angle of elevation of the top is 65 degrees. How high is the tower? For me to find how high is the tower, first of all, if I have this to be the tower and the man is 200 meters away from the base. Here is the base of the tower and the man is 200 meters away from the base of the tower. This is the man, and the man look up to see the top of the tower. While looking up, he makes an angle of 65 degrees. Then we are asked to find what? The height of the tower. So this is the tower, so we are looking for the height of the tower. See that? So in this case, for me to look for the height, and remember, for us to solve any trigonometric ratio, we always remember what we call what? The SOHCAHTOA. What we call the SOHCAHTOA. What we call the SOHCAHTOA. Here is opposite hypotenuse, which is sine, adjacent hypotenuse, which is cosine, opposite adjacent, which is what? Tan. So from here, this is the opposite to the angle. That means I have opposite, and this is the adjacent. So which one gives us OA? OA is tan. That means I'm having here to be that time theta simply gives us what? Opposite over adjacent. And theta is 65. So we're having this to be tan 65 degree. Simply gives us opposite is x, and the adjacent is 200. So the answer gives us, if I cross multiply, I will have that to be, that gives me what? X is equal to 200 multiplied by tan 65. So let's check what that gives us. We have 200 tan 65. That gives us what? 428.9. Okay, 428.9. So we have that the height is 428.9 meter. Okay, this question says that Sunil wants to work out the height of a building. He stands about 5 meters away from the building. The angle of elevation from Sunil to the top of the building is about 15 degrees. How long is the building? Okay, in this case, if I have this to be the building of the house, okay, and Sunil is standing 5 meters away, 50 meters away, standing 50 meters away. This is Sunil. standing 50 meters away from the building, and they find down that the angle of elevation from sonnet to the building is 15 degrees. So the angle of elevation here, from here to here, the angle of elevation is 15 degrees. So we are asked to find how tall is the building. So this is the building. We are finding the distance of the building. How tall is the building? Okay. So for us to find this, I'll still make use of my soccer tour, which is here I have here to be opposite. X is opposite and the adjacent. Opposite adjacent. OA is tan. That means I'm having that tan theta is opposite over adjacent. And theta is what? Theta is 15 times 15 is equal to opposite. This angle opposite is X and adjacent is 50. So if I cross multiply, I will have that X simply means 50 times 15. So let's look what that gives us. Let's look what that gives us. 50 times 15. 50 multiplied by times 15. That gives us what? 13.4 approximately. 13.4. So the height gives us 13.4 meter. Okay, that's how we solve it. Now let's look at another question here. In this case, this says that from the top of a vertical cliff 100-meter height, Ahmed sees a boat out at the sea. Okay, let's look at from the top of a vertical cliff. If I have this to be my vertical cliff, okay, if this is my vertical cliff, and they say that the vertical cliff is 100 meter, okay, if this is my vertical cliff and Ahmed is on top of vertical cliff, said from the top of a vertical cliff 100 meter high, so this is the vertical cliff is 100 meter. Ahmed sees a boat out at sea. Okay, this is the sea or the water level, and Ahmed sees a boat. That means Ahmed have to look downwards in order to see the boat. Meanwhile, this is the eye level of Ahmed, and it looks downwards, which is making an angle of depression. Okay, they said that the angle of depression from Ahmed to the boat is 42 degrees. So if here is 42 degrees, that means that here also will be what? 42 degrees. Alternate angle. They must be equal. Okay. Then it says, how far from the base of the cliff? This is the base of the cliff. How far from the base of the cliff is the boat? And this is the boat. This is the boat. This is the base of the cliff. So we are looking for the distance from the base of the cliff toward the boat. Okay. Let me have the distance to be X. So we are looking for this. You see that? So since Ahmed is here, this is the eye level of Ahmed. For Ahmed to see the boat, he must look down. And the angle he makes there is what we call the angle of depression. And he makes angle of depression of 42. So I know that if here is 42, the angle here also must be 42. We can call it what? Alternate angle. We have done that before. Okay. Now for me to find here, I will note that, okay, let me have to bring down my soccer tour. Okay. Here I'll have here to be opposite. We have opposite and we have what? Adjacent. Okay. Opposite adjacent, which still talk about tan. So that means that tan theta is what? Opposite over adjacent. Okay. Now theta is 42. So I have this to be tan 42 is equal to opposite. Opposite is what? Is 100. And adjacent is what? X. Okay. So if I cross multiply, I will have this that X should be equal to this. We come down 100 over, meanwhile cross multiplying, don't forget 100 over what? over tan 45. Okay, so let's find out what this gives us. 100 divided by tan 45. 100 divided by tan 45. 42, sorry, tan 42. So that gives us what? That gives us what? 111 point there. Okay, 111. So that gives us 111 meter. 42. So that gives us 111 meter. Okay, the final question we have to look at is this. This says that a bird flies from the top of a 200 meter tree. If I have this to be my tree, this is the tree, okay, and this is the base of the tree, and they say that the tree is a 12 meter tall, and the tree is a 12 meter tall, okay, 12 meter tall, at an angle of depression of 34 degrees. Okay, now let's start afresh. It says that a bird flies from the top of a 12 meter tall tree at an angle of depression of 34. So if this is the bird, and he flies from there, the bird is looking here, so the angle of depression the bird makes from where he was looking at is what? Is 34. See that? Okay, to catch a worm on the floor. So if here also is the worm on the floor, it means that the angle from the down will also be what? 34. Alternate angle. So if this angle is 34, the angle here must be 34. Don't mind my triangle, okay? So in this case, we are asked to find how far does the bird actually fly. So the bird must fly from here. Okay, let's draw the triangle very well. So that means if I have this triangle, okay, this is what? 34. That gives us 34. And we are asked to find, so this is the bird and this is the worm, and the angle the bird makes is 34 degrees, which also will be the angle here. Okay, now for us to solve this, we said how far does the bird actually fly. So the bird flies from the tree down here, so we are looking for this side. Then I have to bring out my circle tool so that I will be able to solve that. This is opposite, we have opposite, and this is what? Hypotenuse. So opposite hypotenuse gives me sine, and that means that sine theta simply means what? Opposite over hypotenuse. So opposite to the angle is 12, theta is 34. We have sine 34 is equal to opposite is 12. Adjacent is what? Adjacent is hypotenuse is x, okay, because we are looking for the hypotenuse. So in this case, if I cross multiply, let's look what this gives us. 12 over sine 34. So let's find, so that gives us what? 21.5 meter. Now the B part says how far was the worm from the base of the tree. So this is the worm. They are looking for the distance to the base of the tree. So this gives us what? Y, and that gives us what? Opposite adjacent. So we look at what? Opposite adjacent, which is what? Tan. So I'll look for tan theta, which gives us what? Opposite. Okay, that gives us tan theta equal to opposite over adjacent, and our opposite, our theta is 34, 12 over this. So if we cross multiply and solve the question, we find out that the length is what? 17.8 meters. So that's how we solve the problem. Thank you for listening.